You wake up, you check your phone, you get ready, you go to work, you come home, you do it again tomorrow. This feels normal. It feels like the only way things could be. But the real answer is far stranger. You were never meant to escape this loop. Not because you lack discipline, not because you lack intelligence. The loop itself was built to keep you inside it, and almost every part of your financial life was quietly designed around that single goal. Think about your paycheck. It arrives every 2 weeks, just often enough to keep you dependent, just far enough apart to keep you anxious in between. This is not an accident of convenience. Economist Milton Friedman once pointed out that people spend differently depending on how predictable their income feels. A steady drip of money arriving just before you run low keeps you tethered to the next drip. You are not saving for freedom. You are surviving until Friday. Now think about your expenses. Rent increases, subscriptions renew automatically, interest compounds quietly in the background. Nothing dramatic happens in a single month. But over years, these small forces work like a treadmill that never stops, always moving just fast enough to match your effort. Why would a system be built this way? Because a tired, financially stretched person is a predictable person, and predictable people are easy to sell to, easy to employ, and easy to keep in place. Here is where it gets stranger. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler spent decades studying why humans make irrational money choices. His research showed something uncomfortable. People do not act like the rational, calculating creatures classical economics assumed. Instead, people are pulled by small nudges, tiny frictions, and momentary comforts. A subscription that auto-renews, a minimum payment that feels manageable, a buy now, pay later button placed exactly where hesitation would otherwise occur. None of these nudges are neutral. Every one of them was tested, refined, and placed by someone who benefits from your inertia. Your brain did not evolve for this environment. For most of human history, resources were immediate. You ate what you found. You used what you had. There was no concept of compound interest, no monthly billing cycle, no 30-year mortgage. Your brain still expects immediate rewards and immediate threats. It was never built to think in decades. So when a system offers you something now and asks you to pay gradually over years, your brain accepts the now and quietly ignores the years. This is not weakness. This is biology meeting a financial structure built to exploit exactly that biology. Consider the modern workplace. Salaries are structured to feel comfortable, but rarely to feel abundant. Just enough to afford a decent life. Rarely enough to build real independence without extraordinary effort or luck. Economist Thomas Piketty analyzed centuries of wealth data and found something striking. Returns on capital have historically outpaced the growth of wages. In plain English, money that is already invested grows faster than money that is earned through labor. If your income comes only from a paycheck, you are running on a track that was never designed to let you catch up to those who already own assets. This is not a conspiracy in the cartoonish sense. No single group sat in a room and orchestrated your treadmill. It is something quieter and in some ways more unsettling. Thousands of independent decisions made by banks, employers, advertisers, and platforms, all optimizing for the same outcome. Keep people spending. Keep people working. Keep people just comfortable enough to stay, and just stretched enough to stay predictable. Look at how debt is marketed. Not as a burden, but as access. A credit card is not framed as future obligation. It is framed as present possibility. The car you deserve. The vacation you earned. The upgrade you have been putting off. Each purchase feels like an isolated decision, but debt does not accumulate in isolated moments. It accumulates in patterns, and patterns are exactly what financial systems are built to shape. Even the idea of a career, the ladder you are told to climb, functions as part of this design. Promotions offer just enough progress to keep ambition alive. Raises arrive just slowly enough to keep dissatisfaction simmering rather than boiling over. You are always almost there, almost secure, almost free, and almost is a remarkably effective way to keep someone moving forward without ever asking why the finish line keeps shifting. What happens when someone does break the pattern? Psychologist Daniel Kahneman, who spent his career studying decision-making, found that humans are far more sensitive to losses than to equivalent gains. Losing money hurts roughly twice as much as gaining the same amount feels good. This single insight explains an enormous amount of financial behavior. People stay in jobs they dislike because leaving feels like a loss, even when staying costs them more in the long run. People keep spending patterns that feel safe, even when those patterns quietly bleed their future. The fear of losing what little stability exists outweighs the uncertain promise of something better. This is the real machinery behind the loop, not a single villain, not a hidden counsel, just biology, incentive, and structure, all reinforcing each other in the same direction year after year. But here is the twist. Once you can see the structure, it starts to lose its grip on you. The people who eventually step outside the loop rarely do it through willpower alone. They do it by changing the structure around them. They automate savings before spending happens, removing the moment of temptation entirely. They build income that does not depend on trading more hours for more money. They stop treating debt as access and start treating it as a tool to be used deliberately or not at all. None of this requires becoming a different person. It requires becoming aware of the system you are standing inside. Think about your own week. How much of your spending happens automatically without a real decision? How much of your income is already spoken for before it even arrives? These are not personal failures. They are signs of a structure working exactly as intended. It was designed to trap you through comfort, convenience, and just enough progress to keep hope alive without ever letting the loop fully close.